Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. Hey, man, we got the boy Derek in the building. The most traumatizing season yet. Was it traumatizing to you, see? Or is he talking about multiple shows or just one show?
Probably just one.
You know Derek like to.
I don't know
who Derek is? Yo, we be having this conversation, and she be like, "Oh, I can't keep up with these."
I can't keep up with everybody. I really can't.
She be like, I know some of them, but I don't know all of them.
Maybe. I know voices. I never be knowing, like, I know a couple names, but I never really be knowing names for real. I be knowing voices. Because I never get to see it.
See?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But anywho, maybe multiple. I don't know, child. We'll see.
Hey, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go. If you want the first part, you got to do it. Check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video.
Like it with a thumbs up.
Hey, let's get it. Let's check this out. Let's see what's about. You ready?
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, Invincible Season 4 is finally over. I just watched it, and let me tell you, this season traumatized me. But it was heat. The lore, the fights, the plot twist, not the animation. It was all so... So today, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, I'll be going over this last season of Invincible, telling you guys the things I liked, the things I didn't like, and of course, going over that insane finale. These finales are always insane. And what better place to start than episode 1? We open up episode 1 this time around with Mark. Mark's not in the best of the moods. He's a bit depresso espresso this season after the events of last season, because, you know, the whole world kind of did see his face while their homes and families were being destroyed. So he's been trying to make up for that by saving more people, which if it was me, I wouldn't be doing all that. I would have just took the nonchalant route. Anytime I ran into a group of people still mad at me, I would just hit them with the, "Hey, y'all gotta chill" type. That wasn't even me though, for real type. But yeah, this episode was calm. It was calm. If I'm being real, it was probably the weakest first episode out of all the seasons. We saw Mark meet this dinosaur guy named Dinosaurus, who I actually found to be one of the more interesting parts of the episode, even though he wasn't there for long. Because he has two sides. One side is this red, vicious Barney who has like this Thanos mentality, you know, trying to optimize life by sacrificing people. And then his other side is a stoner white dude. But I found that dope. I'm telling you, I found that dope. Especially because he's not like one of the new age ones. He's one of those retro white stoners like Shaggy. Even got the voice and everything. Like, I don't know, man. That wasn't me. This episode, we also see Mark have a proper chat, as the Brits say, with Eve's dad, who I think we're deep enough in the show to admit, this dude is up there with Duplicate and Angstrom Levy as the least likable characters in the show. I've hated him since day one, and he's been the same since day one. Also, this episode, we see Mark and Eve fight this green lady. This part was boring. Honestly, I'm gonna just cut to the chase. The major thing that happened during this episode came during the Battle of the Sequids, where we saw Mark kill someone. Yeah, as time was winding down and the Sequids were about to break out, Mark felt like he had no choice. So he straight up punched this dude's dome off. And I'll be honest, I ain't mad at it, bro. I ain't mad at it. Like, swap Mark out with a peaceful hero in this situation like Batman, and what was he gonna do? Break every bone in this dude's body? That don't work here, and there's no time for prep time. And if Mark killing an innocent person wasn't major enough for you, the post-credit scene of this episode shows us a random government facility in the middle of the desert. Wait, where are they holding Conquest again? Conquest Escapes. Yo, you really are a genius, Cecil. And that takes us to episode 2. Episode 2, again, just like last season, a lot better than 1 in my opinion. Because this episode doesn't even start on Earth, or in the present for that matter. It starts on Viltrum, where we see a young Nolan. Yo, it is weird to see you without a stash, bro. This is like the first time I've seen a bald cat. Like, it's not necessarily bad, but it don't look right. But this was so cool. Not even what we learned this episode. I'm gonna get to that. A planet full of Viltrumites? They even got a ginger one. But yeah, this was cool. But more importantly than that, this intro dropped some tidbits of knowledge about the Viltrumites. First of all, we learn when you become of age in Viltrumite society, your parents jump you to wish you happy birthday. That one's not as important as the rest, but I just thought that was crazy. Like, if they doing stuff like this, it wouldn't even surprise me if they like chucking Viltrumite babies out the window when they're born to strength test them. I don't know if it could be. Second, when Nona was threatening to pop this kid's cranium, we learned about the late great Emperor Argal, Viltrum's ruler, who these dudes glazed to death. Like, my goodness, dust y'all knees when y'all get up. But that's right, he's dead. We find out he was assassinated by someone named the Betrayer. And I've always said this, but giving people who do stuff like this code nicknames gotta be one of the worst things you could do. Cause let me be a Viltrumite and find out they calling the dude who killed Emperor Argal the Betrayer? Ooh-wee, I might have to just piss on his grave. Maybe they'll give me a cool nickname too, man. I can see it now. The Leaker. But most importantly, we learn how the Viltrumites ended up in the situation they're in today. Turns out the reason the Viltrumites are down to less than 50 wasn't because of some planetary infighting or some racist flamboyant alien blowing the planet up. It was because of a virus. The Scourge virus. And needless to say, this f***ed them up. It was bad, y'all. Like at first it was calm, you know, a little cough-demic. We've experienced that ourselves. Nothing some tea and NyQuil don't fix. But then I seen these dudes bleeding out their eyes like Naruto characters, and I got a little more concerned. And when I said this thing messed them up, that was an understatement. Because this virus went from killing hundreds to thousands to millions to billions. This is how the news had us thinking Ebola was gonna be back in 2014. It got so bad that since they had no place, or space I should say, to leave the corpses, they just launched them off the planet, literally creating a ring of Viltrumite bodies around the planet. Bro, I saw this and all I thought was, this is intense, this is messed up. And I had a smile on my face the whole time. I'm just keeping it real. I saw dudes online saying they felt bad for the Viltrumites, which is like, okay, sure, I felt a little bad. Then I remembered who they are. Stop feeling sorry for the Viltrumites, stop. These dudes are literally space colonizers, stop. You know what this is like? This is like if Christopher Columbus and all his Spaniard buddies he came on that ship with all got hit with the Black Plague or whatever uncurable disease was around back then. Would you feel bad about that? I know I won't. Christopher Columbus was like the soldier boy of slavery and genocide in the West. He was the first to do it all. I mean, just look at what they was doing to Haiti and DR and the rest of the Caribbean. Could you imagine if they had superpowers on top of that? Oh my goodness, nah, I don't feel bad, bro. I don't feel bad. But whether it be 8 billion of them or 50 of them, the new leader of the Viltrumites is confident that they will survive through this. And I know y'all want me to talk about him, and I do too, I really do. But I'm gonna get to him, I promise I'm gonna get to him. Because remember, that was only the start of episode 2. After that, we see Nolan and Alan gather some weapons they want to use against the Viltrumites. This was dope, because you got to see Nolan reflecting all the messed up stuff he was doing in his past, and see, he actually feels guilty. See, all that Argal glazing got you nowhere. Then we also find out that the Viltrumites were not only sent to the planets to conquer them, but to also find suitable partners for the Viltrumites. Meaning, these dudes were quite literally clapping anything that moved, which immediately posed the question, and this might sound a little crazy, so don't judge me. What y'all think Nolan's body count is? I'm serious, I know Earth was his main objective, but almost 1,000 years old, they definitely had him do some trial runs on other planets. Listen, I'm just trying to make sure Debbie knows who she's getting with. But the biggest reveal of this episode came towards the end when we find out not only is Thaddeus, you know, the leader of the coalition, the Betrayer. What? Leader of the coalition and you got a code nickname? I'm praying on your downfall, man. But we find out he's also the one that made the Scourge virus. And not only that, but he's now made a more refined version that can not only wipe out the Viltrumites, but can wipe out anyone with similar genetics to them. And as rage-inducing this must have been for Nolan to find out, bro, this scene was hilarious. Cause Thaddeus over here talking about some, our people hid their wound well. Hit it well? Motherfucker, there's a ring of bodies surrounding the planet. Were you looking at the shit through drunk glasses or something? But that reveal paled in comparison to the post-credit scene of this episode. Cause after that escape in episode 1, it looks like Conquest finally made it home, where we see him kneel to the new ruler of the Viltrumites, Thrag. Just off design, I knew this dude was tough. I just knew. His face was a little rounder and his voice threw me off a bit. But if Conquest's freak is kneeling to him, he gotta be a threat. Got him. But that's all I'm gonna say for now, boy. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna get to him. Trust me. Trust me. And after the banger that was episode 2, I was ready for the next episode. I was only expecting heat. And then episode 3 is where they lost me. Because the second I seen this dude on my screen, I knew my night was about to be wasted. I knew it, bro. I am sick of this old fugazi American dragon, this bald-headed kingpin wannabe, and this stupid toaster-headed bitch. Can we just scrap the storyline, please? Can we scrap it? Besides the 3 Mr. Liu fans on Earth, who cares about this side story? Who? No one. Like, damn, man, I know we need some downtime so you don't rush through all the material, but Can you just give me 40 minutes of Mark and Nolan hanging out again or something? Or better yet, what's Amber doing? We haven't seen Amber in a while. Just show us her, bro, please. But yeah, this episode was okay. Turns out old dragon guy's alive after what happened last season and wanted revenge against Titan for having Mark beat him up. But since Mark is too busy now, Titan has to get the help of Oliver instead. And that's all I'm saying about this side story. Besides that though, there was some relevant stuff we saw this episode. We saw Mark have a chat with almost called you my dog. We saw him have a chat with Cecil. Not my dog after what you did with that whole conquest thing. About killing that dude in episode 1. Which, quick side note, I saw some people get mad that Mark didn't want to forgive the black pill guy, Sinclair, but is willing to talk to his dad. And I'm just like, guys, it's his dad. I know it's extremely hypocritical because this dude definitely was not putting Mark's face through a train full of people, but I kind of came out that dude's balls, man. I'm sorry, this is how it is. Also, this episode, we see Eve's powers are still on the fritz and still not knowing what it is. So she goes to Robot for help. I repeat, Robot, because I am never calling this guy Rex, ever. I don't care if he's doing it to honor him or whatever. No, you're weird. You took a guy's body because you thought the girl you wanted him, and now you're trying to change his name to... No, stop, bro. You're weird. You're weird. I'm not respecting your wishes. But while he's helping her, they're interrupted by the return of the Flaxons. Hey, y'all remember those guys, right? The green guys. Well, they returned, and this time they mean business. Even brought some robots that can somehow beat up Mark. You know, the guy that nearly killed Conquest, or at least was putting mean hands on him, is now getting beat up by 2 robots. Yep, that's prep time, am I right? Thankfully though, Robot and Monster Girl destroyed devices keeping them young, calling them to retreat. But after realizing these dudes are just gonna keep coming back, Robot orders the Guardians to finish the Flaxons once and for all. But before the rest of them can get through the portal, a Flaxon closes it, trapping Robot and Monster Girl on the other side with no way out. Bro, when I saw this, I didn't really care, but I hope they get home safe. And episode 3, although not my favorite, ends off in an insane reveal too. Because after Mark wakes up in the middle of the night to find Eve not in the bed with him, he goes to check on her in the bathroom, but she slams the door and tells him everything is all right. And this is when we find out Eve is pregnant. And after a reveal like that, you would expect episode 4 to continue on that momentum, right?
Norbit, I'm with a child.
And after a reveal like that, you would expect episode 4 to continue on that momentum, right? Episode 4 finna be a banger, right? Right? I don't think I even remember what happened this episode, truly. I think it must have been some sort of trauma response or something because my brain erased. Like, I know I was just on Titan and Friends crazy, but at least they had some relevance in the other seasons, you know what I'm saying? And I can see, even though I don't want to admit it, I can see there being a small fan base of people who enjoy that little trash side storyline. But y'all, Damien, Dark Blood, when was the last time you were here?
I think this is the episode I hated with his ass. I was like, bro, I felt like that was a filler.
Did you like this episode?
It felt like a filler episode.
For season 1? Who was asking for screen time for this guy? Who? I really want to know. This is ridiculous. This is actually the worst episode of the whole show. I'm not even joking, bro. And then to top it all off, they changed...
You don't remember it? When they went to hell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I just don't remember. Yeah, I remember them going to hell, but I just don't remember.
Yeah. And they had to fight the woman.
Yeah, I remember the episode.
Because she wanted to be a king of a queen, I guess.
I feel like it was just drawn out. Yeah, it was definitely a filler.
It was a filler.
Yeah, it definitely was a filler.
So what was the point?
This is actually the worst episode of the whole show. I'm not even joking, bro. And then to top it all off, they changed William's voice actor. They got him saying babe. William never said babe. I'm done. But at the very least, this episode did give us something good in the last 2 minutes. The start of the war. Because unlike last season, where the last 3 episodes were all the hype, with season 4, it was the last 4. Oh my goodness, I see what they did there. Starting with episode 5. This episode was good. We see the reunion between Nolan and Debbie, which was funnier than it should have been, honestly.
And Dresser was a mistake.
But it was also moving. And I'm very glad Debbie didn't budge and get with Nolan, or even forgive him for that matter. Because if Paul found out about this, things would have gotten ugly for Nolan. We see Alan recruit Tech Jacket, who apparently got gender swapped from the comics, which just had me like,
Okay.
I truly don't see why it's important, truly. Unless this dude was using his balls to kill Conquest in the comics, I don't see how this changes much. And after saying bye to Eve, who is still pregnant, by the way, and didn't even tell Mark yet, by the way, that hurt me. I understand why she did it, but that hurt me. We finally see Nolan, Mark, and Oliver set off to go fight the Viltrumites. I still think they sleeping on my son Paul, man. We see them on the ship on the way to Telestria, but while they're on their way, their ship gets attacked. By who? Well, of course, the Viltrumites. And bro, seeing Mark's reaction to Conquest still being alive, I'm praying for you, Cecil. I'm praying. And this scene was funny too, I'm sorry. Cause while Mark and Conquest are trash talking each other, here come Oliver Capilot again, talking about some, we killed you once, we'll do it again. Alright, bro, you said you fought Conquest earlier and I'll let you slide, but you're using that we word a little loosely now. They all start fighting and the little scuffles between everybody else were calm. They was calm. But the big quote unquote fight came when after Oliver's running to his planet to get some air and Conquest is about to catch him, Mark tackles Conquest. And when we were all expecting a rematch, you know, with Fist, Mark says F that and tells Conquest he will never breathe again. Bro, that line had me hyped. Like super hype, because Mark was serious. He was not about to let Conquest get even another atom of air. Conquest tries punching Mark over and over and over again. Tries running him into rocks over and over and over again. He even tries pinning Mark's face down, his little freaky ass. But Mark just bites his thumb off. Oh my, I know Mikey did the ear, but the thumb? At this point, Conquest was panicking. And what he did next to try and stop Mark was some genuinely scarring shit. Conquest trying to get Mark off him, pierces him with his hand. Hold up, don't react yet, don't react yet. And after piercing him, Conquest starts pulling Mark's guts out. Holy shit. And I mean really pulling them, like he was rearranging them, pause. And the worst part, Mark was still not letting go. Oh my, y'all, when I saw this, I could barely look at the screen. I almost had to hit the Zephyr, bro. And I checked, and this scene was only a minute, but it felt like it was 5 times that. Mark's little sounds of pain when it was happening too. And even through all that, as much as I wanted him to, Mark still did not let go. And he actually kills Conquest. A win is a win. Nolan and Oliver arrive on the scene, and we see Thaddeus officially announce that it's time for war. And then we on episode 6. Episode 6 obviously had to take a step back from episode 5 to let Mark recover, you know, considering Conquest was freaking playing Operation with him. But it's okay, because it was still good. We saw some bonding between Nolan and Oliver, which was great. Nolan says Andressa wasn't a mistake, which is nice to hear, of course, and learns that Oliver might be into lobsters. Oh, that's nice. And just because it was a step back didn't mean there wasn't any room for action, because after Mark recovers, they get straight to it. They arrive on Telestria and help the coalition fight off the Viltrumites. This was dope. Well, not really, because a lot of innocent people were dying, but it was dope. Seeing Thaddeus finally do something was so much fun. Like, yes, put the beats on Krieg, beat him. Gonna say the same thing for Tech Jacket though. Why were they hyping this armor she got on like it could easily take out a Viltrumite and I ain't seen nothing yet? Didn't she kill a Mark variant last season? What's going on? She's doing a whole lot of nothing now. But also at this point in the show, you could have said the same thing about Thrag. He has done nothing so far. Even after Mark and Oliver destroy the Viltrumite ship, Thrag, instead of fighting, calls upon all the Viltrumites and decides to retreat. And this moment right here is when I think the fraud allegations got turned up a notch. Not only because of his round ass head in this scene, but you supposed to be the strongest Viltrumite, and you dipping after a minor inconvenience like your ship getting blown up? I can understand why people were on him, but understanding is different than agreeing. Cause I knew just like the Utah allegations, people were extremely wrong. And episode 7 showed us exactly how wrong they were. We all know the show is called Invincible, but this episode onward, the show is called Thrag, the GOAT. Cause episode 7 immediately starts by showing us a flashback of how Thrag got into power after Argall's death, and showing us that he was the one that started that great purge that Nolan told us about a while ago. Yeah, in an effort to weed out the weak after Argall's assassination, Thrag pretty much just tells all the Viltrumites, alright y'all, kill anyone you don't with like that. And seeing it just made me double down on what I said earlier. Thaddeus was right to put these people down. They even got the kids purging each other. Holy shit. And that was only our first sign as to how this dude Thrag get down. Mark and the gang who were on the way to Viltrum to fight him did not know what was in store for them. Wait, real quick though, I know y'all see who that is. I know y'all see him. Especially Oliver, who again, bro, is just chatting. He over here saying Thrag probably don't even live up to the hype. Bro, Ollie, I mess with you, I really do. But you got dribbled and nearly dunked on by Conquest. You might have to just stop talking, bro. But when they arrive, it was much worse than anyone could have anticipated. I should have known too, because Thrag was just standing there. Menacingly! Everyone starts fighting, you know, they score a few kills on some Viltrumites. And the first one to confront Thrag was Nolan. And when I tell y'all, off the dodge and the punch alone, I knew this would end horribly for the main cast. I just knew. And I was proven right, because after a yap just between the two of them, Thrag sends Nolan flying, taking him out the back. And the next one who wanted to take a crack at Thrag was Oliver. Bro, why does he listen? Oliver rushes Thrag. Thrag catches it, and I'm not even joking, looks at Oliver and says, "You're purple," and slaps his face and arm off. Ali, no! And Thrag wasn't done there, because Mark sees this and gets heated, telling Thrag he killed Conquest and he'll kill him too. And tell me why when he said this, Anissa started giving Mark the eyes. Calm down, Cougar, we're in the middle of war. Mark rushes Thrag and finds out this is not Conquest. Even the way they split the animation budget for him is different. Because while Conquest's fight last season was the bulk of the budget, Thrag is so cold, they spent all the budget on one impact frame. Just the one, it's true. And Mark pretty much did nothing to him. Even my son Mufasa got packed up. But don't worry, he gonna be back. I know he will. And Nolan, after seeing this, decides, well, if you can't beat him, destroy everything they love. So with the help of Mark, Thaddeus, and Space Racer, who is completely underutilized, by the way, you telling me his gun could go through anything and y'all using it to kill background Viltrumite number 15 instead of someone like Anissa or Krieg? But yeah, with the help of him, the three of them run through Viltrum, destroying it in the process. This could not be good. Thaddeus tells the Viltrumites to surrender, thinking it's over. But he couldn't be more wrong. Because this man Thrag was not happy. He comes out from behind a piece of Viltrum, tears in his eyes, fuming. And before I say what happens next, I gotta say, this dude Thrag is one of the best, if not the best villain in Invincible so far. He's my favorite. He's calculated and cold, but at the same time, he's a great leader who, after the virus, values the life of his people more than anything. Except Oliver. All that to say, for him to do what he did next, you know he was mad. Thrag rushes out and immediately decapitates Thaddeus. Then he looks at Mark and Nolan and tells them they're next. Bro, watching this, I was staying up the whole time. This dude actually had me scared for them. Mark tells everybody to run, bitch! Run! Nah, I'm kidding. He told me to look for Oliver and goes after them. But the second Mark caught up and saw what Thrag was doing to Nolan, he immediately said, you know what? I think I accidentally left my wallet. I better go. And tries to run, but he was too slow. But right before Thrag can do only the Lord knows what to him, Nolan saves him. Phew, that was a close one. Thrag impales Nolan, and he still wasn't done. Because after Mark tries to attack again, obviously to no avail, Thrag starts crushing Mark's eyes. My goodness. At this point, I was just praying, please. Please, Paul, do something. But he never came. Instead, it was a turn of events. Thrag, after seeing the remains of Viltrum behind Mark, lets go of him and spares him? Yo, this is what I mean. This dude is just unpredictable. Yes, that's correct. Thrag spared Mark and Nolan because he didn't want to pack up any more Viltrumites. And even though Mark and somehow Nolan and Oliver made it out of this alive, there was still something big to worry about. Because after finding out Alan is now the new leader of the coalition, congrats, we see them having a meeting about the location of the Viltrumites, because they're kind of nowhere to be found. See, I would have checked every single barbershop in the universe. Someone's got to be keeping Thrag's hairline in check, and I know damn well it ain't Lucan or Krieg, so. But while discussing where they could be, Mark realizes the only reason they haven't found them is because they're in the one place they didn't check. They're on Earth. Episode 8. The final episode of the season, and one that I like very much, starts with the scariest intro in the entire series, where we see the Viltrumites are destroying Earth. But luckily it turns out to be in Mark's hack. Okay. We don't actually know if they're there yet, and it was looking like they weren't, because when Mark arrives on Earth, there's zero signs of any Viltrumites. Hey, I called it, they hit the barbershop. But when Mark gets home and is telling his mom about everything that happened up there, Thrag appears and decapitates Debbie. But it was just Mark imagining again. Oh my goodness, that scared me crazy when I first watched it. Please, anyone but Debbie, please, just take him over. But yeah, it looks like our boy Mark is suffering from PTSD after his fight with Thrag, to the point where he hallucinates him and the Viltrumites murking people he cares about several times throughout this episode. Some of which actually caught me, I can't even lie. Which again, just speaks to how scary Thrag is. Mark fought Conquest and Nolan, and he was never scared like this. But it wasn't all messed up hallucinations this episode. It was also a mix of good and bad. And by bad, I mean, sad. We saw Cecil try and retrieve Robot and Monster Girl only to fail, so you know. We saw Nolan try and win Debbie back again, but this time he was applying pressure, because tragic news, guys. Paul and Debbie broke up. I know, I thought they were endgame too. And Debbie still rejects his advances, but decides to go with him to visit Oliver. Okay, Nolan, there's still a little bit of hope for you. You smart though, let this be when they were together, and I'm telling y'all, them Viltrumites will no longer be an issue. We also see Mark and Eve reunite, and hold up. Damn, you got a little... Okay, I'm here for it. Turns out Eve gained a little weight while Mark was gone due to being inactive and probably being sad about him being gone, and also what she's about to tell him next. Well, not immediately, they got down first. But afterwards, Eve tells Mark that she had an abortion. I did not expect this. When we seen her again, I was wondering where her belly was, but I just thought maybe, I don't know, they just didn't want to spend money on drawing the bump. I don't know. Since she didn't know if he was ever gonna return or if he was even alive, combo with the fact that she's young, she made a decision. Seeing them both crying together about it damn near made me shed a tear. You know, the scene would have been a little sadder if hallucination Thrag didn't freaking pop Eve's eyes out, but it was still sad. I mean, hey, there's some positives though, because after seeing them cry together like this, I have no doubt to my mind that these two are getting married. I'm calling it now. At this point, Mark just felt guilty and overwhelmed. He wasn't there for his girl, his brother got turned into future Gohan, Paul is no longer in the picture, and the Viltrumites are still out there. This was a lot. So Eve tells him, just go on a fight to take your mind off things. It'll help. And that's what he does. Mark flies in some very PNG animation. Not like I could do much better, I'm just saying. All around the planet. Until he sees him again. Thrag. But this time, he knows what to do. So he closes his eyes and opens them. And he's still there.
He's still
That's
there.
because Thrag really was there. Yup, Mark was right. They went to Earth. Which, now knowing that he's real, is just like, how long do y'all think he was standing there? Mark tried to attack Thrag, again to no avail, but Thrag tells Mark to calm down. He has nothing to worry about. In fact, he has a proposition for Mark. It goes as follows. Since they destroyed Viltrum, they're gonna let the Viltrumites live on Earth. They won't get involved in any way, shape, or form. They're just gonna live amongst them and rebuild their population. Which just had me like, hold on, what? Is this dude Krieg pulling? Nah, no way. And the other option, you can decline, but the Viltrumites destroy Earth. Bro, the fact that you try to word it like an ultimatum when it's pretty much just a yes or yes is insane. I just can't believe I didn't think this dude's voice was intimidating. At first, I thought he just sounded like he could read you a good book. But when he's holding your planet at fist point, yeah, definitely sounds scarier. Viltrumites living on Earth is just insane though. And seeing how well these dudes blend in, got me questioning if our world has Viltrumites. Because you already know the governments will hide that from us. So it could be happening. And if I had to guess who one of the Viltrumites are, Yo-Yo 808. I've seen that dude bench over like 700 pounds. He's not human. And Mark, mad as hell, but with no other choice, agrees. Thrag calls Mark their savior, leaves, and then the season ends. But wait. It's not over. Because during the post-credit scene, we see Alan receive a message that Thaddeus left him just in case he died. Then leads him to the Scourge virus. And Thaddeus must have recorded this when he was in a bad mood, because he tells Alan to exterminate all the Viltrumites. Use the Scourge virus and don't let anyone get in your way. And then the season ends. For real. Oh, brother. I have a feeling I'm not going to be messing with Alan next season. This season was good. It was good. The growth from Nolan, the mindset switch in Mark, the emotional stuff with Debbie, Paul existing, the Viltrumites, and of course, Thrag, especially Thrag, made this season great. My only issues are, one, they sidelined my girl Eve crazy this season. Like seriously, y'all should have just made that episode 4 like an Eve filler episode or something. And two, which y'all should know what it is, the animation, bro. Please, Amazon, please. Just hire more artists or reallocate some of that voice actor budget to the animation team, please. Like, I know I made that impact frame joke earlier, but it really felt like that scene, the conquest fight and them destroying the ship, used up all the budget. Like, I look at season 1 and I genuinely get sad, bro. I get sad. But besides that, this season was great. I liked it. My predictions for next season, like I said, I think Alan gonna do some slimy stuff. And now this one may be pretty obvious, but Thrag gonna find himself a goth shorty on Earth. I'm calling it. Nah, I'm kidding. He seems more like the bougie type anyways. But that actually does remind me, the season did leave me with one more question. What y'all think Thrag's body count is? Alright, y'all know what to do. Join the Discord, follow my IG, join the Discord especially, and comment down.
Not Thrag body count, man. Thrag gonna get some hoes on Earth though.
What you said?
That line up too crispy.
What you said? That's crazy though.
oh, who was this new white man? He got a sharp edge. But overall, the season was pretty dope though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It had some. I didn't like episode 4 because I felt like it was 100% a filler, and I was like, this. It felt so pointless. But also, I was like, hey, you never know what it might be leading up to as well.
True,
So
true. That's true though.
But
But
hey,
I barely could remember 4, but until you explained it. But yeah.
y'all spin us up. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts in the comments for us down below, man. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go with the name DJ Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are.
Kid and
We
C.
are.
Go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar, 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 dollar. Please tell me